everyone. Welcome back from spring break, and thank you for joining us for another Academic Success webinar series. I am Ashley Bray. I'm the Disability and Learning Skills Advisor at the School of Continuing Studies. As always, I have my colleague, Annie Balot, who's the Learning Skills Advisor here on main campus. We are very excited today. We have Charla Rivera from the Writing Center at SCS, who is here to talk to us about citations. So welcome, and we will get started, and we'll go to the next slide. And as always, you can stay up to date on all the things the ARC is doing through our social media accounts on Facebook. It's /ARC Georgetown, and on Instagram, it's ARC_Georgetown. There we post all of our events, our upcoming webinars, study tips and tricks. So make sure you're following us on social media. Again, we are very excited today to introduce Charla Rivera. She works at the Writing Center Writing Lab down at SCS, and we are so happy to have her. And Charla, I will kind of throw it over to you.
Great. So welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. As Ashley mentioned, I'm working at the Writing Lab this semester and also last semester. The Writing Lab is designed really for SCS students. So the tutors are aware of your different different degrees and your needs. If you have questions after the presentation, you can always email me at scswritinglab@georgetown.edu. You can also visit our website for some tips and tricks, as well as schedule a tutoring appointment with one of our tutors at scs.georgetown.edu. Okay, so with that, let's get started. We're going to talk about citations today, a very exciting topic that I get questions about all the time. So let's jump in. So one question that I get, a surprising amount of time, even at the master's level, is why do I need to cite? Why is it so important that I cite things a certain way and actually make sure that it's formatted correctly and things like that? So let's just take a quick minute to review why we need to cite things. So citations are very important for several reasons. One, it's really important to show clearly which ideas are yours and which ideas you're getting from other people. And this includes, we won't have time to get into this today, but if you have one paragraph and it's all coming from one source, it's not enough to put just one citation at the end of that paragraph. You need to show exactly which ideas in the whole paragraph are not yours so that everybody knows what is your thinking and what is someone else's thinking. Okay, you're really joining a conversation when you're doing research. So you're just acknowledging what other people have said in that conversation. Okay, so again, you really just want to make sure that you're giving credit where credit is due. Other people have worked hard, and you want to acknowledge their work and their thinking and their research in this. You also want to make sure you make it easy for your readers to verify your information. And this is one of the reasons why, this is one of the reasons why we have style types, to make it easier for somebody to double check what someone you're citing said. So if you claim that a source says X, somebody else can look up that source and double check that they said what you said they'd said. It also, if somebody else is doing research, or a side tip, if you're doing your own research, you can check the bibliography or works cited page to see the sources that they used or that you used to do their own research as well. Okay, so that's why citations are important. So a really quick overview of the style types. There are three main style types. Of course, there are more than three, but three main ones. And these are MLA, APA, and Chicago Turabian. Now, typically MLA is used in the humanities. So if you ever took any literature classes, things like that, you probably used MLA. APA is used in the sciences, psychology, education. Most of the degrees here on SCS campus are using APA, okay? Or you could be using Chicago Turabian, which is used in business, history, and fine arts. So the vast majority of you will be using APA at SCS. but I do know that some of the more business side degrees are using Chicago or Turabian, and I do think that liberal studies may be using MLA, but everybody else is basically in the APA camp. Okay, and these are just kind of a general guideline. Your specific field may vary. You may have a special style type for your field, or sometimes you may even have a special field type for your professor. So some professors may prefer Chicago, but with a special style that they like just themselves personally. So you do want to check with your professor with citation styles just to make sure that you're doing them correctly. All right, just a quick side note on finding sources. This comes to you courtesy of Megan Hunt at the library here in SCS. Just so you know, Megan has put a lot of work into creating resource guides, research guides for you. So if you go to the library website, just library.georgetown.edu, go up to research and click research and course guides. You can scroll here, and here are all of the major degrees, both undergrad and graduate here at Georgetown. You can find your degree on this list, and you can find a research guide, including citations, that Megan has put together for you. So my quick little plug for the library, because of course the library and writing lab work hand in hand. So why you're really here is how to format references. I'm not going to go too much in the nitty-gritty of individual style types, just because there are 3 different types at SCS, and I have no guarantees of which style types any of you are using. So instead, I'm going to give you some resources where you can find information for your specific style types. And if you do have questions, you're not sure, you can check with your professor, or you can also make an appointment at the writing lab, and we can help you out with formatting your references as well. So today it's more about tools for formatting your references rather than the actual step-by-step. So the first step is to check the official guides. So there's an official APA style guide. I think it's currently on its 6th edition. There's an official MLA guide, and there are official Chicago guides. You can search online. They are not always free if you just search online, but if you go to the library website, you can find the ebook version at the Georgetown Library, or you can even just go down to the library and request the paper copy of the style guide, okay? You can also check unofficial but thorough guides like the Purdue Owl. Honestly, the Purdue Owl is one of my first stops when students have citation questions. The Purdue Owl, and I'll show you a little bit around the OWL. An OWL stands for Online Writing Lab, by the way. Purdue Owl really gives you a nice overview and actually quite a bit of detail on how to format references within all of the different style types. You can also use, there are 2 different softwares that you can use at Georgetown. I will today only be talking about Refworks, but Zotero is also an option. These are software that will actually collect your resources for you, kind of hold them in a little database, and then they will be able to spit out your citations when you are actually typing in Word or creating your works cited page, your bibliography. Refworks is not free, but as a Georgetown student, you have a free account. So you can feel free to go onto Refworks and use that. It is web-based, so you don't have to use your personal computer. Any old computer, you can just log into Refworks and access it. Zotero, on the other hand, it is free. It is open source. It is a little bit less user-friendly to use, and it's saved locally to your computer instead of being in the cloud like Refworks. But with Refworks, you will lose access after you graduate from Georgetown, while with Zotero, you will still be able to hold on to everything because it's just a free account. So whichever one you want to use is up to you. Today, I'm really going to go over Refworks because I find it a little more user-friendly than Zotero, but Zotero is also, once you've used it a couple of times, is also not hard to use. So a quick little overview of the Purdue Owl. So this is Purdue as in the university and their online writing lab. So here's what the website looks like. So you can go to owl.english.purdue.edu and it'll take you to this website. And you can come here and click on Research and Citation, and you can find your specific style guide that you're looking for. So I clicked on APA here, and you can see here that we have in-text citations, you have the reference list. You can click on this and it will show you basically, this is like the unofficial style guide of APA. So if the book is checked out at the library, the official APA book is checked out at the library, then you can go to Purdue Owl and kind of find the basics here. Okay, I love the Owl, I really do. So next we'll talk about Refworks. Okay, and so as I was saying, Refworks is a software. It's based in the cloud. And you have a free account as a Georgetown student, so all you have to do is log into Refworks. Now, to actually find the link for Refworks, because there's actually two different versions. There's the old version of Refworks that I find a little bit clunky and hard to use, and that one is orange, so we'll call that orange Refworks, okay? The newer Refworks is blue, that's easier to use, and the easiest way to make sure you're logging into the new Refworks is to go back to your your research guide from the library. So back at the library, that went a little too fast for you to see, but if we go back to the list, you can click on yours, that was sports management, go to citation assistance, and here's the link right there. Megan Hunt has put that together for you. And also there you saw that there's a link to the APA official style guide. Off to the right side, there's example citations. So really, Megan's put a lot of work to help you in citations. But if you click on this Refworks, it will take you to the new updated blue Refworks, which I find much easier to use, okay? So this one is not a GIF. It's not going to move around on you. This is just a screenshot of my copy of Refworks. So I was putting together some example references as if I were writing something for one of my real estate classes. I'm not actually taking real estate, but just pretending. So here I have 5 sources. They're here. They're already saved. If I clicked on these, it would tell me the author's name. It would tell me the journal article. I could find the journal again. I could read the abstract. All of that is saved for me here in Refworks, okay? You can also organize things by folders. So if you're doing more than one research project or doing something for more than one class, you can give each class or each project a folder and save everything that's relevant in that folder. You'll also see that just above that, there's a sharing button. With Refworks, and this is cool, this is something only Refworks can do that Zotero cannot. If you're doing any either group work with classmates, or if you are doing some work for your capstone and you would like your advisor to have access to some of your research, you can create a shared folder that you can share with classmates, your professor, your advisor, just so that everybody has access to all the same articles, okay? You'll also notice that in this screenshot of my browser, there's a little bookmark here called Save to Refworks. This is wonderful. This is basically an automatic tool that will trawl through the website that you're on and find all of the information that you need for your citation automatically. So if you were on a website for a journal and you clicked on a specific journal article, you could click Save to Refworks here in your browser, or there's also in journal articles, there's usually a Save to Refworks button right on the page itself. But either one, you'll click it, and Refworks will take a couple of seconds, read through it, and do its best guess of this is the author, this is the name of the article, this is the published date, things like that. It's really, really great. It's easy to install. You actually install this by clicking these 3 little buttons here and going under Tools. One thing I will caution you, though, is that Refworks is a computer, and you are a human, and you are much smarter than the computer. So don't just trust that Refworks will always get it right. So click your Save to Refworks or click the Refworks button in a journal, but please just read it over and double check, because, you know, we all use computers every day and we know that they're not so smart all the time. Okay, so that's one thing that's great about Refworks. Zotero will actually also do the same thing. If you are choosing to use Zotero, if you look up at the top of my browser, you can, this is my personal browser, so you see The third square over, it looks like a little piece of paper on the top right. That's actually my Zotero plugin, and Zotero will do the same thing where I would click that plugin and it would gather all of the information for me, just like Refworks, and save it to my account, okay? Now, the other really cool thing about Refworks, and Zotero, again, also has this. It has a different name. But with Refworks, it's called RightInSite. And this is a plugin that works with Microsoft Word, or if you're doing anything in Google Docs, like especially like any group projects, you might use a Google Doc to share your document. You can install Refworks RightInSite to Microsoft Word, or install it in Google Docs, and you can actually have it automatically create your citations for you with no guessing, okay? Well, some guessing. Again, you are still the human, so please double check that it looks right. Double check it against Purdue Owl, or double check it against the official style guide, just to make sure the computer's not being a little dumb, okay? So let me show you what this looks like. So this is an old version of Word, but it works basically the same way. You're writing your paper and you decide, oh, I need a source, okay? So you would go up into Insert Citation. This is what the plugin looks like. You'd say Insert New. There's your folders. You'd click the source that you want, double check it looks right, hit OK, and there it is, okay? So this is your in-text citation. Notice that it automatically puts it in parentheses, and this is in APA. If you did something like according to, you might have to just edit it a little bit to get rid of some of those parentheses, but I can help you with that if you come into the Writing Lab, okay? So this is your in-text citation. The really cool thing about that is once you've added your in-text citation, Refworks, this is where Refworks is a really smart computer, and Refworks will remember that you added that in-text citation, and when you go to add your bibliography, it will automatically remember which sources you used. So now this is a different image here. If you go up to bibliography options at the top, click Insert Bibliography, it automatically adds your bibliography for whichever sources you inserted citations for. So if you have a whole list in your folder, but you don't use all of the sources in that folder, Refworks will not add the things that you don't use, okay? And this actually, so I'm also a professor, and when I give my students writing assignments, I am that terrible professor who goes through and double checks all of the in-text citations against the bibliography to make sure that they match, and make sure that students didn't add any extra ones to the bibliography by mistake. This way you don't have to worry about, oh, did I actually use the source or not? Zotero and Refworks both do this. It will automatically add whichever ones you actually used, okay? Again, double check that it looks right against Purdue Owl or the official style guide, but in general, Refworks and Zotero both do a really good job as long as the information was initially added correctly when you used your plugin on your browser, okay? So once you double check that step, in general, it does it correctly after that, okay? So I'm going to leave this up for some questions. If you are not here today, if you're watching this recorded, you can also just send me an email at scswritinglab@georgetown.edu. You can also go to scs.georgetown.edu/writinglab and go to the Writing Lab, and you can make an appointment. You can see copies of some materials that I've put together. I've made a couple of videos here and there. So we're really here for you to help you with your citations or any writing help you may feel you need. So please feel free to contact me with any questions or create a tutoring appointment with anything you might need help with in the writing process. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Charla, for joining us today and all this wonderful information. And I highly recommend, if you are an SES student, to reach out to Charla and the Writing Lab. They are there. They're a wonderful resource and really know what they're doing. If you're on main campus, you can go to the Writing Center. Again, if you have follow-up questions, please get in contact with Charla versus the SES Writing Lab at georgetown.edu. And if we run just to the next slide real quick. We have a feedback survey, so if you guys have any more suggestions of other topics that you guys would like to see for webinars to join or to look at later, please make sure that you go to our feedback survey, which is https://tinyurl.com/ARC webinar feedback. And thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we hope that you have a great rest of your week, and make sure to stay tuned for our next webinar.